Hey, how have you been, guys? I'm Paradoxic, and welcome back to Supernatural. This time we're on season 14, episode 10, titled Nihilism, and the last episode was The Spear, episode 9, and quite a bit happened. We had Garth returning to grace our screens, and he was on like a undercover mission for Sam and Dean as a spy in Michael's ranks, and we saw Michael doing more experimentation, but this time with werewolves, and one of the werewolves was Garth and another one was someone he knew, and he tried to do the whole like taking the medicine thing that he used to do with his mother, but obviously Michael is a very different person and it's not Garth's mother, so he's not going to fall for a just holding it in until everyone else disappears so that he can spit it out and let it fly away in the air. That's not going to happen, and it didn't happen, but he actually had to take the grace, and then that kind of led to him being partially kind of possessed and stuff, and he lashed out and uncontrollably lashed out, and then had to be choked out by Sam and locked in the boot of the Impala. So that happened. We had the boys kind of splitting up, so I think it was Sam and Jack who went to get the exercising egg from the mail where Ketch dropped it, and they were ambushed by Michael's men, and Michael actually melted the egg in her bare hands, so that method was destroyed, and then Dean and Cas were hunting down Otherworld Kaya to get her spear. As we know, that's a weapon that can actually hurt Michael, but then at the end of it, just like we saw like Michael facing off against Dean, but instead of killing him, Dean was caught up in a bit of a struggle because Michael had actually left, in Michael's words, he left the door open just wide enough so that he could actually go back into Dean's body whenever he wanted, which was basically what he did at the end of the last episode. He actually left that woman's body and then jumped back into Dean and destroyed the spear as well. So that was a big ending. But the spear was destroyed, so that means Kaya's going to be pissed off. Kaya's going to be pissed as all hell. And we had Michael had his monster army just ready to be unleashed in Missouri at the snap of his fingers, and that happened. The episode ended on an almighty snap, good old Infinity War style. So I assume we'll be seeing his monsters being unleashed throughout the city in this episode, and Sam, Cas, and Jack trying to stop it. But Michael is back in Dean's body. But yeah, I mean, I don't know how long this is going to last for, because the first time it lasted for like, 2, maybe 3 episodes? Like, it was around like a Demon Dean length kind of arc that took place. But yeah, I don't know how long this one's going to end up lasting for. But we will see how they actually deal with this army and how they move forward from here, and how Kaya reacts to the news of her almighty weapon being lost. I mean, it snapped, and then there was a light on the inside of it that kind of faded away as well. So I don't know if you can like kind of duct tape it back together and it's still usable, or if the power from it is completely gone, or what's going to happen. But yeah, but Dean had also cut her a deal to have Jack, or as Kaya knew him as the special boy, to return her back home. And as we know, Jack no longer has his powers because he doesn't have his grace anymore. So her ticket home is based on a lie. So we'll see how she reacts to that as well. But yeah, that is pretty much all I have from episode 10, so episode 9 even. So episode 10, Nihilism. Let's go. Wait, I know her. Wait, who is that? That's the woman. That's Pamela, right? The psychic. Is she a psychic? That's Pamela from way back when. She had her eyes burned out. Is it just me, or has Pamela gotten buff? I feel like she's gotten buff. Oh, sugar. Oh, he wasn't just any old unconscious guy. He was an unconscious dick, more than anything. Oh, yeah. Nice. Yep, straight for the beheading. There we go.
Well, what can I say? I'm famous.
You really are. Yeah, I feel like this is some kind of dreamland thing going on. And we're gonna...
Now, this just feels right.
Back to the action.
This will be the end of him.
Catch us outside of the meeting.
So that's what that was all about. That was Michael looking through.
Destroyed the one weapon.
Oh, easy. Holy fire Molotov. Yep, holy fire Molotov. Oh, and handcuffs. The Enochian handcuffs. Nice. Nice.
You think these can hold me?
They can, right?
Yes, we do.
They can.
Dean,
They can.
dump him in the trunk of the Impala and take him back to the bunker.
But Garth is in the trunk.
It's a big trunk.
Yeah, but what if he kills Garth? I don't want Garth to die.
Sam, what are you doing?
Who's Jessica?
Death assigned a Reaper.
Oh, the Reaper. Oh, right, yeah, from the Rowena episode.
Hello.
Jess. You've changed?
Where's Jessica?
Well, my name's Violet.
Oh, Violet.
It's my shift.
I can hear you.
Yeah. Secret club. Party members only.
So,
Okay, listen. We're west of Kansas City now?
you're bringing them here.
Oh,
think?
shit.
Jack,
Michael,
let's lock it
you
down.
sly fuckwit.
Yes. Put a chair against the door.
So wherever they go... Oh, so he did bring them back. He brought them back to the bunker. So that the monsters could come there. You'd think more old faces would be here. Like, maybe the Bobby he knew, maybe Ash,
More shots!
Ellen and Joe, perhaps.
Because you're not Sam. You're not Cas. You're a new burden that he was handed.
How dare you?
You're a job. A job.
And
none
you're
of
a
them would.
dick.
When we fought in my world, we thought that God would come back, give us answers.
So God
Why
could,
he'd gone, what we'd done.
so God left in
But
that
instead,
world
you know
too.
what happened. And when he realizes that they're flawed, he moves on and tries again.
Oh God.
No, that's not how.
Jensen has some great
Why would he do
dialogue
that?
with Michael this
Because
season.
he doesn't care. I just want to burn every one of his little worlds until I catch up to the old man.
Damn.
And then what?
Even God can die.
He's gonna shred this universe down to its last atom. And then build a new one, teeming with life. Okay, I'm gonna stop now.
We have you surrounded? Shut up!
What if I can do more?
Burn off your soul?
Not all of it.
Jack,
He's letting Michael get under his skin.
not that way.
That's a mistake, Jack.
You don't know what you're walking into.
See, out here I'm all chained up. But in there, you're all mine.
I don't like the sound of that one bit.
So,
Lumos.
So much trauma in Dean's mind.
Mm-hmm.
So many scars.
Dude needs a fucking therapist more than anything else.
Dean's been through a lot, but he's
Yeah.
strong.
So if Michael wanted to keep Dean placated,
Keep him
Dean
happy.
thrives
Yeah.
trauma. Hey, he's had to his whole life, right? It keeps him alert, keeps him ready. But if I wanted to distract Dean,
Keep him happy, give him what he
I'd
wants.
give him something he's never had before.
Yeah. A happy life.
contentment.
Exactly. So maybe instead of looking through his bad memories, maybe let's
Go to the good
let's look
ones.
through his good memories.
Owning a bar. Has he ever owned a bar? Or is that just a dream of his that Michael gave him?
You've never met anyone more real than me, Sam Winchester.
You're just a complex manifestation of Dean's memories.
Michael. Yes. Michael's in the cage.
Not that Michael.
guys, what's this, some
Wrong
kind of
Michael.
No, Dean, it's not a joke.
Yeah, you remember that, Dean? Remember that? When she saw Castiel?
You're blind? Pamela died helping us. What happened?
Yep.
Pamela!
This happened. Poughkeepsie. Poughkeepsie, yeah. Poughkeepsie, you remember that?
What'd you say?
Poughkeepsie.
Poughkeepsie.
Yeah, Poughkeepsie. Poughkeepsie. However the fuck you say the word. Poughkeepsie. Yeah, Michael is doing some terrible shit and it's all in your body.
I remember everything.
Real good. Oh no. Oh, balls.
Hey, fellas. Because he gripped you tight and raised you from perdition. Or whatever. But since then, what has he done?
They've been through thick and thin, through some deep shit.
One, you're stalling.
The monsters are there, aren't they? Wait, where's Jack? Okay. Okay, Jackaboy, be careful. Be careful. Oh, it's Maggie.
So in here, you're all talk.
He's got no power. He's just a regular human. Throw a punch, Mike. I regret my words. I take I take back everything I said. I should never have said anything. I'm so sorry. Oh god. We even hooked up to the thing, he just got the most shit-eating grin.
Tiger?
Tiger shouldn't have gone in the woods alone.
Oh no, shh. Oh crap. Tell me he's the only one though. Tell me he's the only one. Yeah, okay, the other guys are good guys. They're good guys. His powers are back! Or even slightly. His powers are back. Oh shit, oh crap. Okay, Jack, just sit down before you collapse and hit your head. Damn, his powers are back. Oh shit. Oh, okay, there we go. There we go. Yep. Close that door. Barricade it down. Barricade it. You have a temper tantrum all you want, Michael. You're trapped in there.
I've just seen firsthand what the absence of a soul does. And it's not just about you staying alive, Jack. It's about you staying you.
Staying sane and good and pure. Yeah, you guys should have barricaded that door. A screwdriver in the hatch is not going to keep him locked away. Like, you know, that thing's going to fall out.
You broke the rules.
I took a calculated risk.
So it was Billy who transported us into the bunker.
They all end the same way now.
Wait, what?
With the Archangel Michael escaping your mind and using you as his vessel to burn down this world. Except one.
How does this one end? How does it end?
What am I supposed to do with this?
That's up to you.
How does it end? Don't you dare cliffhanger me. Tell me how that one ends. Tell me how this one ends. Dean, how does this one end? Dean, how does it end? What does it say? Great. Fucking great. So wow, so all of his death notes, for lack of a better phrase, all of his death notes have been rewritten. All of them except for one have been rewritten to to result in Michael breaking free of his mind and using Dean's body as the vessel that he was intended to destroy the world and to burn it down, and all except this one. So this one, I feel like this one might be that it's only if he kills himself. I feel like this one might be like a self-sacrifice kind of ending. Like, he sacrifices himself in some way to make sure that, you know, Michael can't use his body, and that, you know, Michael dies within this body as well. Because he is the Michael sword, he is Michael's one true, like, his one true vessel. Not his only one, but his one true vessel. So, you know, if he, I feel like the self-sacrifice in the way that, you know, if he kills himself the same way he killed Lucifer in Nick's body, then... But then, that method, that didn't even work for Nick, though. Nick still came out of that. It just, like, it left Nick alive, but it killed Lucifer. So with this one, I feel like... I don't know, I mean, I feel like that might be the only way. Like, he has to kill himself in a way that he knows it will destroy Michael as well. Or maybe he has to destroy himself, or he has to destroy Michael in a way that may well end up killing him too, so he has to be willing to pay that price. I feel like, knowing Dean and knowing how they've pulled off Dean's deaths in previous seasons, I feel like that one book might be a self-sacrifice of some sort. Like, that might be that one ending. Just everything else, Michael always breaks free and uses him as a vessel to destroy the world. But this one ending, this one way, it's like, again, not trying to force a reference, I just can't help but see these parallels. But it's like, you know, with Doctor Strange's vision in Infinity War, like, you know, he saw 14 million different outcomes of how Infinity War and Endgame could have gone, but there was only one way they won, and that was with Tony taking, spoiler alert by the way, Tony taking the stones and snapping his fingers, but also giving his own life in the process. I feel like that might be the way this is rolling. Like, all of these endings, Michael breaks free and wins in the end, but with this one, Dean might have to end up sacrificing himself in order to, like, keep Michael away and to destroy destroy this Michael once and for all. Yeah, like, I feel like it generally might just be a self-sacrifice kind of play. But we will see with Damn. So that really rewrote the whole thing. Like, him helping Mary and Jack and helping all the other people in the Apocalypse world, like, that really rewrote his entire destiny. Because I remember this was back in season 13, I think, season 13 or not 12. I think it was like in the last season, I think, that we actually had that episode of, like, Dean meeting up with Billy and seeing all those different endings for him. And it's when we discovered that Sam is the one who kills Rowena, I think, as well. But yeah, Damn. So all of them rewritten just like that, just from some interdimensional world hopping, and his destiny changes that quickly and that drastically. Damn. Okay. But yeah, so now Dean has caged Michael officially. So yeah, that banging is not going to last very long, mainly because that door is not going to last very long. That screwdriver is either going to fall out or it's going to come flying out, and the door is going to come flying off its hinges, and then Michael breaks free. Or, you know, I think they should have barricaded. They had tables, they had chairs, they had boxes and shit. I feel like along with the screwdriver, they should have just piled tables and chairs up on top of it. I mean, you know, because then because seeing the screwdriver rattle around in that hatch just gave me major anxiety more than anything else. Just the feeling that, you know, with each thud against the door, it's just it's just gonna knock loose even more. You know, it's just gonna come fly out any moment. But also, just even without it, it's just really insecure. Like, that door is just really, like, just flimsy, if anything. He was just like banging the barrel against it and making dents on the inside, which undoubtedly made some dents on the outside as well. Yeah, I feel like having the barricades would have been a good kind of metaphor as well for him having actually put walls up against that particular area of his mind, to prevent Michael from coming out even further. But I don't know. I don't know, but I don't know how long that's going to be able to keep him for. I don't know how effective that's going to be. Probably not very effective, but we will see how long that actually pans out and how well it pans out too. But yeah, I do not have a lot of faith in that door. I might be proven wrong, but I personally don't have a lot of faith in that door. But yeah, Jack's powers. So I mean, I was surprised seeing them return because I was wondering like, oh shit, like does he have that ability back now? And then he just started staggering a little bit. So I thought, maybe it recharged somehow, but he used too much of it too quickly. So it's just he's not used to having it back just yet. But no, he actually did use his I think maybe his powers are also connected to his soul, so that he's alive because the magic in him is feeding off his soul, but then when he uses his own powers, that feeds off of his soul too, so that's like eating off an even bigger chunk of his soul, which is less for the magic to feed off of. But yeah, I mean, even the magic, I can't remember how that went. Was that like just like a little bit at a time, or just like a little bit like overall just to keep him alive? I can't remember if it's continuous power consumption, like soul consumption, or if it's just like a little bit is used to bring him back and then that little bit is actually used to keep him running. But either way, his powers are somewhat connected to his soul, so using them means that he drains his soul even more, which doesn't mean that he's going to die by the end of it, but just means he's going to end up being soulless. So Cass was right. We've seen what being soulless does to people. We saw it with Sam most prominently. Soulless Sam was a big season arc, and that was very, very fun to actually see, and it was clearly very fun for Jared to actually play around with. But more recently, we saw it with Donatello, the Prophet. Like, he had his soul sucked out by Amara, and when he was translating the demon tablet, like Cass said, like his soul was meant to act as a filter for all of the bad shit that's in that tablet. So, having no soul meant no filter, so even all the darkness went into him, and he could have easily tricked them or deceived them or whatever. And he eventually did kind of have a more antagonistic kind of attitude and mindset towards them, and then Cass had to like do something that basically just killed off his mental state, and he just became like vegetative or something. But either way, having no soul is a very bad idea, and it's a very bad sign. So Jack has to be far more careful with how he uses his powers and when he uses them. But it was fun to see him coming back in with his powers. But I think you very easily see Jack being hurt most of all, because since the beginning, like with Michael's dialogue, you see him being hurt most of all, because since the beginning Jack's had such a struggle with his identity and with his powers, like not knowing who he is and thinking he's a monster, and Dean's initial reaction to him being like, oh, he's something that needs to be put down and he's a monster and he's too powerful for his own good and all that jazz. And then he's like he had that thing like Dean's speech where he's like some kind of interdimensional can opener for Sam or something, and he was pressured to kind of use his powers more, and he went through that whole kind of identity struggle. And it wasn't until later on that he actually found a comfortable place within the Winchester family and actually found a place of his own. And then he started off with his powers, so he was so used to being able to do that stuff, and then he lost them, and then he went through that whole arc of feeling useless and expendable because he didn't know how to fight without his powers, and he kept on losing and stuff. So with this, I mean, again, Michael is a master manipulator. He knows people's weaknesses, he knows how to weed them out, he knows how to get under people's skin, and he will use that to his full advantage. So that's why, to him, it seemed super effective to call Jack just like a job, or something for Sam and Dean and Cas to look after, as opposed to someone who's actually an equal to them or someone who actually matters to them. And again, it's just him using his praise or his opponents' weaknesses against them, and just like just striking them exactly where it hurts. But I think in this episode, I think I think he tried it a bit with Cass as well. But I mean, with Cass, like we've seen him working with the Winchesters as an equal many times, and like even to this day, and he has had his fair share of dark moments for himself, and some strange like relationship moments with Dean and Sam, but at the end of the day, he has still kind of proven himself to be a worthy ally and a worthy adversary for all the monsters they faced, and he's proven himself to be a stronger character. But with Jack, he's gone through far more of a struggle of actually knowing what he's worth and who he is, and like Michael actually knew how to more accurately kind of pour salt into those wounds, so to speak. So I feel like with that, like Jack took a bigger hit with this episode, and he was so like, I think he was worried about not being useful without having his powers, which is why I think that was like partially a reflex, but also kind of like a last resort. Like he knows he can't take the werewolves on hand to hand, or do any of that stuff, or even fire a gun. So his next best thing was like just instinctively to use his powers and actually stop them. So I mean, whether or not he knew that would happen, I don't know. Like if it was just out of anger, like he hoped it would work, and maybe even slightly knew that it would, but I don't know. I mean, it did work in the end, but it's gonna cost him. So I think he has to figure out a way to actually bring the powers back without it like not costing him, or he has to keep going through that kind of journey of actually like coming to terms with the fact that he is still worthy and useful without his powers, and he's still worth just as much. So yeah, that was Jack's powers. The Dreamland with Rocky's Bar, where Pamela Barnes returned, buffer than ever. I don't remember her being that muscular, but hey, it's a good look for her. But yeah, I don't remember when it was. I do remember there was another Dreamland sequence like that, quite a few seasons back, and it had, I think, everyone. Like, I think it was when. No, wait, I think, was it a dream sequence? No, I think it was when Sam and Dean went to heaven, I think. Yeah, I think it might have been when Sam and Dean went to heaven, because then they saw Ellen, maybe Joe, but they saw Ash. They definitely saw Ash, and they actually had to ask him for help to track down someone or to fight something. And that was when Ash told them, like, oh, I've looked at your futures and your past and everything like that, and he's like, oh, you boys die more than anyone I've ever met and stuff. So he was kind of warning them about the future a little bit. But I remember that, I think that might have been when they went to heaven, not necessarily a dream sequence, but I was thinking, like, with this one, he actually thought to bring Pamela back, so it was great to see her, but I figured that, for like a dream sequence, like, he might have brought back maybe just a few more familiar faces. Maybe for this dream sequence, actually bring back people like Helen and Joe and maybe Bobby as well from Our Earth, and Ash and Pam, and just bring back those kinds of familiar faces. And I don't know, like when that vampire originally, like when that werewolf, I think it was a werewolf, but when that werewolf originally, what was it, a werewolf? When that monster originally walked through the bar, I thought that was going to be Benny, because I thought, oh wait, this looks like a vampire. Oh wait, maybe it's going to be Benny. Maybe it's another blast from the past. Maybe Benny rocks up, but no, it was just a monster looking for some trouble. But yeah, so that happened. Pamela Barnes was a great touch, great return. But yeah, that whole sequence in Dean's dark black mind was just harrowing. Just Cass identifying all of his memories as just being really deep and dramatic and traumatic, most of all. Like, it goes without saying that Dean, more than anyone, well, I mean, I say more than anyone, but equally to Sam and Dean need therapy. They need some hardcore therapy. They really badly do, because the amount of shit these boys have been through is just astonishing, honestly. It's like, I don't ever think, I mean, me personally, I don't ever think any words could do justice to all the stuff that they've been through, everything that they've had to suffer through, and everything they've lost. I don't know if therapy would be a huge help. I think they tried it once with in season 12 after Mary was presumed dead. I think season 12 or season 13. They tried it once with that shifter lady, but that was more focused on having lost Mary in the apocalypse world than it was everything else. But I think it just generalized kind of just general trauma therapy, or just, you know, one-on-one therapy, whatever. Just therapy is what they need more than anything right now. But yeah, because, you know, just seeing Cass identifying that, like, Dean has been through so much, and, you know, there's so much trauma in this, and, you know, he's been through so much, and he's so strong and everything as well. Like, yeah, he's strong, but it doesn't mean he's not broken. Like, he is a very, 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 very broken man, and the fact that he holds on day by day is just a miracle more than anything else. And he turns to things like one night stands and alcoholism and just all these kinds of, you know, like all these methods that are basically just blowing off steam, if anything. So like the opportunity to sit down and let him vent, let him talk, let him cry, let him scream, shout, kick, punch, just anything he needs to do to let out all of these years of trauma, and him and Sam, just to allow them to let off all these years of trauma, is what's genuinely needed right now. But yeah, again, that stuff goes without saying. It is just like an obvious fact. So before this show ends, I need to see them having that therapy. I need to see that happening. Like them having like a therapy session. Just like even an episode based on therapy. Just like, you know, just like calling back to all of their deep dark moments, and just, you know, them having the chance to talk through it together and having to reminisce over it and stuff like that. Like that kind of an episode, I think, would be a great way to call back to previous stories and all that stuff. But yeah, what else? So yeah, Jensen definitely had a great performance this episode as Michael. Slightly less physical, I think. You know, I think obviously like it's when Jensen has more dialogue and more kind of like as an actor, when he has more like written material to work with than just kind of body directions and stuff. That, I think that's when he truly shines, because some of the monologues he has had throughout this show are just incredible, and, you know, it really just goes to show his strengths as an actor. And I think with this one, I think it can seem a little smaller, but I think that with Michael, he really nails that kind of not just antagonistic, but that kind of, in this particular episode, he kind of nails that kind of psychopathic kind of side to Michael. The fact that, you know, he has this power and he does whatever he wants with it just because he can. Like, there's no other reason. And, you know, he talks about like how you know, so how like it's very Thanos-like. His dialogue does seem very, very Thanos-like. But Michael did mention how God had left the Earth on the Apocalypse universe, as well, on the Apocalypse world. Like that Earth, like God left it as well, and he fought Michael just to see if God would actually return, and if God would care, or if God would return and do something about it. But God never did anything. He probably watched it all happen, probably didn't even pay attention to it. But either way, God never really did anything. Chuck just never came back. So he killed Lucifer and he tore that world down. And, you know, he even like I think that speech of his in this episode was actually one of my favorites. Like, you know, like Chuck is a writer. You know, each of these worlds, like the Apocalypse world, this world, that world, the next world, it's all just drafts to him, like bad drafts that he's, you know, just that's why he's leaving. Like, he creates this world things don't really work out, and then he moves on to the next one and just leaves this world to kind of figure stuff out on its own, or just burn on its own, or whatever. So like Michael's kind of Michael realizes this, that God doesn't really care about what he leaves behind or what happens to the things he leaves behind. So that's why he destroyed the Apocalypse World and turned it into what it was. And now this one, he wants to do the same to this one and the next. And his end game is just to keep destroying all the worlds that God has created until he catches up to God himself, and then he will kill even God. So, damn, this is just, it's very Thanos. I mean, it definitely did remind me of that quote, like, he's going to shred this universe down to its last atom, but instead of building a new one that's teeming with life, he's just going to keep on shredding all these universes, he's just going to keep on shredding all these planets and all these worlds. But yeah, so that was just a really good piece, and that was a really good chunk of dialogue. But that makes me wonder, like, so God on that world left, same as the one on this world, like the God on our world left before he came back from time to time, and then he ultimately left with Amara and never came back. And God on that world was still Chuck. So it makes me wonder if, I mean, with God, he is like the overall creator and overseer and somewhat the ruler of all of creation, but would that creation account for alternate universes as well? Like, would that mean that, there are all these, like, there's very clearly a multiverse established in Supernatural now, there's very, very clearly a multiverse, but would that mean that, there's all these alternate universes out there, but there's still only one Chuck? So the multiverse exists because God has created all these different universes to try and find one that works for him personally, but things just keep going wrong, or like things don't work out, so he leaves them to figure themselves out, or figure things out on their own, and then moves on to the next world that he creates. Maybe, I guess, because I mean, in terms of multiverses, we've only really focused on what the Earths are like. We haven't really heard of what the universe is like. But again, I think someone actually mentioned to me in like a few seasons back that aliens have been confirmed to not exist in this universe. Like, apparently Gabriel himself confirmed that extraterrestrial life isn't a thing. And obviously, I mean, extraterrestrial life is more of a scientific thing, and Supernatural focuses far more heavily on religion. So that would be kind of like a clash that they'd have to actually think through. But yeah, so like with each alternate universe, it's only an Earth. Like, obviously other planets exist, but extraterrestrial life itself just doesn't exist. Like, that's not a thing. Like, all these other planets and galaxies, like that stuff, likelihood is it still exists, but the focus is more on Earth. Even with the alternate universes, it's how the Earth differs across the multiverse, and these are all different drafts that God has been, that Chuck has been working on, and that it's not worked out, so he just left it and moved on to the next one. So now Michael's pissed off with that, and now he's gonna tear down every world that Michael has created, that Chuck has created, and then just catch up to God himself, and then he's going to kill God. So I don't know how that plan's going to work out, but that is that is Michael's plan. That is Michael's plan. So he's the Thanos of Supernatural that's going to kill Odin, I guess. Yeah, I guess Chuck would be Odin, like God would be Odin, like the All-Father. Okay, like he died. I think that's a good enough comparison. But yeah, and I do that a lot, by the way. I do that. I cross over Marvel and Supernatural a lot, just thinking about which character would be who. I do that a lot. Some might say too much, but I just say a lot. So yeah, but that is that. What else? So he left on the Apocalypse World, and he never came back. But when he left on the Apocalypse World, would that mean that he left the Apocalypse World to come to this world? So like, when we saw him last, with the whole situation with Amara going down, would that mean that he actually left the Apocalypse World at that time and actually came to this Earth to sort out stuff with Amara. I don't know, because I mean, it doesn't look like it took a huge amount of time for Michael to actually do what he did with the Apocalypse World. Like the Amara stuff, that was season 11. So we're now like 3 seasons ahead. So 3 seasons worth. That's like what, like a good year, maybe a year and a half. I don't know, probably a year, roundabouts. Year, maybe 2 years. Yeah, so that's like, I guess that's enough time for Michael to have like done the whole thing with Lucifer, then figured out that God's not coming back, and then killed Lucifer, and then, you know, turned Earth into the Apocalypse World. But yeah, well, I mean, the Apocalypse World wasn't just Michael, it was just the fact that Sam and Dean were never born on that world. So everything else happened as well, like everything before the apocalypse, everything after the apocalypse, like all of that stuff happened. So, but the apocalypse was the one big kind of game changer, I think. But yeah. So, that is pretty much all I have for this episode. Definitely looking forward to seeing how things go from here, seeing how much longer Michael can be kept caged up in Dean's mind, and what that other book is, what that one ending for Dean is. I'm calling it as a self-sacrifice, that's how I'm calling it, but we don't know for sure, we have to wait and see. But I am looking forward to seeing how all of this is resolved and how we go forth from here. But yeah, that was Supernatural Season 14, Episode 10, titled Nihilism. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you guys enjoyed it, then salt and burn that like button. Comment on what you thought of the episode and what you think is coming up next up on Supernatural. And yeah, that's it. So, I will see you guys next time.